March.
There we go.
6 days.
Yeah. Does it have,
It's on the microphone.
Clean living.
what kind of guy driving the boat? Are they supposed to have a captain's
He
license
said yes.
when you drive a boat for a certain tonnage?
Took a lot of them.
Yeah. That's my thing, I put it on Lake West and getting blown in the wind. Thing goes down, it's fine. I don't believe in talking out of tank, there's no such, it's meaningless to talk out of septic.
No.
That's what 2.5 minutes. We do all the
It's not. It's not the segment goes bottom right there.
Just really.
Fucking.
I say go ahead, man. It's a nice little. Just go ahead.
I'm gonna open the regular town board meeting. And I'd like to change actually, the first item on the agenda is, I call it a presentation from Swazo Doty and Associates, as they're helping us with the Roosmont sewer project, and it's certainly apropos with our septic law tonight. So if you might give us a quick presentation, Mark and Tar.
Yes, I'll give the presentation for tonight. Mark Swallow Doty and Associates, are also with me. We've been working with the town, on an upgrade to the Roosmont sewer systems. So we have a quick presentation that I can share with you. So just to give everybody a location of where we're talking about, there's a joint, village and town wastewater system, but when you get into the nitty gritty, there's a village collection system and a village treatment plant and the town collection system, which discharges into the village system. There are, it was identified in a previous study that one of the areas of high INI, which is infiltration and inflow into the sewer system, is in the Roosmont area. So there's a sewer main that goes along the lake here, and then a sewer main that goes around Mirror Lake on this side. We did some studies, evaluated the conditions of pipe, measured flows coming in, and it's abnormally high for what you would expect in this area. This is of specific relevance as the Village of Lake Placid wastewater treatment plant is experiencing higher than normal flows, and they're going through a capital project to preserve the ability of that plant to treat everything. So both the town and village are pursuing projects to reduce this essentially clean water that's coming in and stresses the overall system. So these are blow-ups of the existing, what would be Roosmont along the lake. So as you can see, this yellow line that comes here, and we could zoom in a little bit more, but there's about 20 to 30 manholes along the lake and a long collection system sewer here. We evaluated different options to fix it. Just the realities of construction, that digging out the existing sewer system and replacing it in kind is not possible due to the existing system location and the existing buildings. So the recommended alternative was to go in with a specialty company that can line this sewer to repair kind of the cracks and other deficiencies that we've identified, prevent water from coming in. That will seal the pipes up and only allow wastewater from the residences to come up. We would anticipate from ours, there would be a significant reduction in the amount of water that's entering the system and leading to reductions on the stress for both the town and village system. Along Mirror Lake, we're looking at some repairs along the roadway. There's some section, this pipe is relatively in a cleaner area, we would say. It's easier to repair, but there are deficiencies. We'd be looking at lining. There's a small section here where the existing sewer main passes under a culvert that's been damaged and it's leading to a backup of the sewer system in this area. So this would be the only area that would be excavated and dug out to repair.
And this is the back end of Mirror Lake.
Exactly, yes. There's also some additional work that would be done. As you can see, there's some of these manholes go along the lake here. We relocate them under the road and then for a potential tie-in to a village system modification that would do the same thing. We've had some issues in the past where homeowners along the lake don't know the sewer systems there. It can create some confusion. So we're looking to move that into the road, which is more of a municipal location. Cost estimates for the two projects during the engineering phase, which is, very rough. We try to overestimate to make sure that we're not missing anything, was about 5.42 million. However, we worked with the town and obtained some grants for 3.75 million, which reduced the local share to 1.67 million. We're going for additional grants, and one of the items for tonight is to initiate seekers so we can proceed with a LEA grant application, which will fund 25% of the remaining amount. And that is just to give numbers on this, the way the town charges for sewer is it's a per property fee. This project, even at that 1.67 million, would be about $30 per user in the sewer district. So although it's big numbers here, because there's a lot of people in the district, the impacts would be relatively minor.
And sir, I always get confused on this. It's spread
Yeah.
out across the town or spread out across town and village?
Town,
Okay,
because the town owns this,
okay.
That's our consolidated.
yeah, it's your consolidated district, yeah, just like,
The slip lining is, we did this in the village on Main Street for some of the sections, correct?
correct, yeah, so we may use a slightly different material, so that when you get into the nitty gritty details, there's different ways to do that. And because of the location and some of the angles of where they come together, we're gonna have to really evaluate which options we can use. The other thing is because it's in such a sensitive location, we want to do potentially I don't want to say higher quality, but a more robust system that'll last longer, because getting into that area is difficult, so.
Sounds good.
Project schedule, we are initiating the engineering design right now, and then we'll be moving into, with it hopefully wrapping up near the end of the year and going in, we would go out to bid and construct. Due to the location of this and the timing of everything, we would be looking at trying to do a construction during the winter period when less people are here, there's less flows in the area. The ground will be more frozen, so it'll be less disturbance overall. So that's the gist of the Rosamond project as proposed currently. But we're, moving forward with this in conjunction with the Village of Lake Placid to alleviate some wastewater issues. Any questions?
Is there search going into the lower part by the town hall? And I had spoken with Brad, who
Yes.
said they were investigating the capacity of that because it's a collection point, so to speak.
Yes, actually, so the village, so because there's the village town boundary, the organization that's funding a lot of this work, the New York State Environmental Facilities Corporation, they have a program called the Engineering Planning Grant, which both the town and village have applied for. That's how we study it. We have submitted and actually carded the application to study that area. It's technically in the village, so it was a village application. But there is a comprehensive plan that looks at the town areas and the village areas to address, and we're working through all of those. Thank you.
Further questions from the board? How about any questions from the public? Thanks, Mark.
Yes.
That was good.
Sorry, and do you need us to do anything tonight to stay the secret process or,
Well,
or do you know the answer to that?
I want to skip in the agenda and I want to go down and first pick our engineer for this sewer project. We had to do that.
Yes.
After I give my little speech on that, then I'd like to move to the resolution.
Would you like me at the board or?
Doesn't make a bit of difference.
I'll sit back there.
All right. As you know, we had, two engineering firms submit, information to us interested in this Rosamond project. Both were highly qualified. MJ does a lot of work around here. I know quite a few of the people there. In this particular instance, because of it's Rosamond and Swazo Doty and Associates have worked closely with the village for so many years and with us on a number of projects. I feel it's in our best interest to remain with Swazo, especially on the Rosamond project. It doesn't mean that there won't be projects down the road where MJ can not this MJ, the other that MJ Associates won't be working for us in the future, but for right now, I'm totally impressed with Swazo and they've represented us so well, both with securing financing and being so organized to keep us up to date with at least a half dozen different projects. It really gets confusing with numerous reports, so my hats off with thanks, to Swazo. And, with that being said, I'll take comments from the board or I'll take a motion to accept Swazo as our Roussement.
I'll make a motion to accept Swazo as the engineer.
Second by Dick. Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. No one opposed, it's carried. So following that, we're in need of a resolution authorizing the town board to act as lead agency for the seeker process of the town of North Elba Roussement Sewer System Improvement Project. Okay, you want to do your thing?
I haven't read this yet. Right. Resolution authorizing the town board to act as lead agency for the seeker process of the town of North Elba Roussement Sewer System Improvement Project. Whereas the town of North Elba is seeking funding from the state of New York for the above referenced project and is required to complete the seeker process to comply with funding requirements, and whereas the seeker process requires a lead agency be designated to facilitate review, and whereas the lead agency will solicit input from agencies on the environmental impact of the above referenced project, and whereas the lead agency will review input and make a declaration on the impact of the above referenced project consistent with seeker guidance, and whereas the lead agency will notify other agencies as to declaration of impact. Now and therefore be it resolved, the town of North Elba Town Board will act as lead agency for the above referenced project, and the town shall cause to be circulated a letter to all involved and interested agencies notifying these agencies with a summary information of the project, whereupon the resolution was put to vote recorded as follows.
So I assume roll call vote. Emily,
Aye.
Dick,
Aye.
Rick,
Aye.
Jason, and I'm I as well, unanimous. Thank you. Anything further with this, Mark, you need to add?
No, I would say the next steps, just we had informed Supervisor Goldie, for the grant application, that will complete the secret process and now gives 30 days for the other involved agencies to comment and then close out the secret process, initiate bond proceedings. We're acting as project manager for this, but we've also included the town attorney and town bond counsel. They're aware of the project, and we're on target to complete everything in time for the grant application.
Anything further we need from this board?
Not tonight, no.
Okay.
In that resolution it talks about letters and agencies are.
We're drafting those.
Yeah.
And then we will coordinate with the town clerk to make sure they're sent to the correct agencies.
And then you're actually doing the secret application on behalf of the town.
Yes.
We want to make sure no one here is doing it.
Yeah, we have that actually. Or has that prepared, it's all prepared, and we'll include the material sheet.
I do PTSD.
Yes. Part of two from some projects, so. Nope, that was all that was needed to keep everything on track, so it's
Thank
fine.
you very much.
Thank you.
Naturally, you're welcome to sit through, but we understand. Long day, busy day, you're welcome to leave.
Thank you very much. We appreciate it.
We do. Thank
You
you.
need your drive?
I do need my drink.
Just know whatever you're gonna do is not be like.
Thank you. I need to talk with the. Oh, yeah, so you.
Derek, you're a regular communication and engineering firm. Why don't you talk to me? You know, about the feasibility of a sewage system on Buckeye.
We will. Old business.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Thank you.
thank you, Mark. All right, under, old business, I added one item that's not on the agenda. It's just a reminder that I did meet with Lupini, our masonry. You remember, this will be the third time we started renovation of the town hall with brick renovation, on the alleyway. Last year, we started a more major aspect where, the main steel beam that runs all along. I don't even know what that was, that's, Bear Lake Drive. All that steel started to ribbon and, it needed renovation and realigned. We have just the front, on the Main Street portion that looks toward the oval. Anyway, our estimate a year ago has changed from, like $110,000 to $136,000. And it is because of, a little mistake in measuring. The windows are actually bigger on that front portion. So it just needs a little bit different engineering to.
I thought you were gonna say a mistake about something else, and I was like, where's he going?
Yeah,
Glad.
If you don't think it needs to be done, look at the pictures.
yeah,
It's amazing how
yeah.
steel can.
Oh, yeah.
Get that.
And it's a result of water leaking behind there and actually, messing with all the wood frames around the steel. All right, so that's enough on that. Just quickly, I still want to bring up steel buildings and how it might come in, to play on our master plan for the showgrounds. As we wrapped up, receiving our 6 million and we move forward with the long building, I did get an opportunity to talk with a few of the board members and Alan, what their core beliefs were on the need for either steel buildings or pavilions that could help replace tents set up every year. They are still very gung ho on that because the savings could be major. They wouldn't give me downright figure, but you know, we all know that they spend in the neighborhood of $400,000 to put those tents in every year with the stalls. They could realize 30 to 45% savings by having an open air roof, and all they had to do was bring in the stalls and remove them. So it's something still on our radar. I know there's concern in the community on Vista and the whole bit. So, you know, we're not moving without caution, but I just wanted you to know that Horseshoe still thinks that's a needed improvement.
Is it? How was Cultural this year? There was a significant number of increase of Portsmouth.
It sure was. They were down, you know, 45 to 55% last year. I really think just the energy that they created at their winter show down in Florida and got the word out to everyone. The resurgence has been great. It's my understanding, and I don't have it for fact, but the, you know, the big prize money at the end of each week where we competed with, Saugerties isn't happening this year. So, my impression is that they're respecting each other's turf a little bit. That helped tremendously. I do know there's a pretty big waiting list for horses to get involved here now that we've started major improvements. So, it's really a welcomed turnaround in one short year.
I was getting ice cream with the family and talked to a few people at the horse show. They were really impressed with the uptake that we did.
Yeah, and you know, so much of it is just in the ground too, everything we did, that you can't see. Under new business, just quick, I think I briefed you all before that, you know, we have our back stairs are creating a tripping hazard, so we've cut away anything that's in the way, and, we have secured a bid of like $2,900 to have new stair treads and stuff go in and get back into compliance. We are in receipt, you know, I'm sad to report that, not only am I deciding to retire, but our long-serving budget officer is gonna retire as well. And that is really the cornerstone to everything we do on a municipal level. Kathy really represents us so well and has for so long that, we are, you know, looking for, applicants to replace her. And, you know, we want her on board for as long as it takes to help train this new person. So I guess this is, my way first of giving thanks publicly to Kathy for such a superb job. And, offer through you, Grace, that we're actively looking for a qualified financial person. Our application process is open till end of July, isn't it? July 31st. The other quick item I'd like to bring up is, in searching for the right people to help us as we move forward with the long building, we need qualified personnel to help us both design and look at all the various brands of equipment for the new full-service kitchen. And I've decided to sign on with with folks Gerhardt's equipment out of Syracuse, mainly because the cost of bringing them on board can fully be recovered should we buy a certain amount of equipment from them. So actually, it's their way of giving us professional help and being able to return the cost of getting them here, should we decide to buy it. And I have a number of local professionals, as well, to help us through this process. I'm pleased tonight to welcome MJ, to the floor. She's here to talk to us, about LEAF occupancy tax money. And, you know, as a board, we have different ways that we receive from the county anyway. We're gonna have a little open discussion here on moving forward, expectations and how we see things down the road.
Sounds good.
Thank you, welcome back.
Thank you for having me tonight. So I thought it would be good if we just, and I know that everybody here at the table has a good understanding of how we got to where we are. But I think that it would be helpful for me just to go from the start of the Community Tourism Enhancement Fund and how that was implemented. Back in 2017, working with Jim McKenna, looking at some of the considerations that were of concern locally within the town of North Elba and the village of Lake Placid, as far as the infrastructure and the facade and some of the other, issues that we thought were concerning in regards to when the traveler came to the community. What did it look like when they got here, right? And what were the experiences that they have from walking on the sidewalk to, some of, the lackluster flowers and, other things that we really thought were concerning as far as the in-market experience for the traveler. And so as we started talking about it and brainstorming, we came up with the idea that if we could increase the occupancy tax from 3% to 5% and take that 2% and create this Community Tourism Enhancement Fund, it would help all 18 towns in Essex County have some additional funding to enhance their communities for the people that live there, but also to enhance the experience for those traveling and experiencing our region. So after a lot of work and a lot of back and forth with Essex County and the supervisors of the 18 towns, they agreed to increase the occupancy tax from 3% to 5% under the understanding that that additional 2% would go towards the communities, would go to the communities. And the way that it would be dispersed, according to the law, is that it would go as best to the abilities of Roost, because the way the law is written is 95% of the occupancy tax goes to Roost. And it's our responsibility to spend that money to the best of our ability where it is collected. Collected. So, we knew that obviously that the town of North Elba and the village of Lake Placid generated the majority of that occupancy tax. So because we knew it was going to be a significant amount of money, we came up with the idea to create this specific program just for the town of North Elba, which we call the Local Enhancement and Advancement Fund. I did not come up with that, but the acronym is LEAF. And so the way that the LEAF program works, as you all know, is that there's a committee of 11 people, and they review grants that are accepted twice a year, end of September, and then again in the end of February. And the committee goes through the LEAF applications, the grant applications, and ensures that they're in compliance with the guidelines that have been created through this committee and Jim and myself. And then those applications that we think are good, viable projects for the community as well as for enhancing the tourism experience. We bring it to the town board and the town board either approves or advises or adjusts, or, at the end, we have grant recipients. And the committee and the town have worked very well together since the beginning of time. So within the first year to year and a half, it came to the attention of the county, which, as we all know, the occupancy tax is a county tax, that they felt that there was too much of a disparity amongst the amount of money that North Elba was getting and the other 17 towns within Essex County. So the county decided to readjust the calculations, and to stay in compliance with New York State law, they created an agreement between Roost and the county that they would manage the 2% of the 2%, which is a community tourism enhancement fund, and they would disperse it to the individual towns. And it was agreed upon with the town supervisors that it would be done, I believe, quarterly. Is that right?
Right.
But is there actually a percentage, of how much is off the top to each town?
Yes.
It's 5 now,
No,
No, just set them up.
It's a seven.
not a percentage.
It's a
Sorry.
set amount
Okay.
that each of the towns get, and then in addition, there's a percentage that the towns get, which correlates with the amount that they generate.
That's a percentage.
Mhm. So the percentage was adjusted, so that the town of North Elba gets less than the actual percentage that they collect.
Yeah.
And that it's a calculation, and regardless, we can get into that and I can show you,
Isn't it the same percentage though? It's just that they went from the initial amount that they took out for every town, the set amount. They increased that. Then after that amount is taken out,
It's whatever.
then if you're saying it's just whatever generates.
yes.
That is correct,
Right.
but it is reevaluated every year because as short-term rentals become, there may be more short-term rentals in the town of Wilmington.
Oh, yeah,
than
that's
there
what I mean,
was,
yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
that percentage is evaluated.
Yeah,
on
it's
an annual
the
basis.
actual whatever.
But it's proportionate.
Yeah, it is, that's the point. It's a percentage, but it's within that proportion.
Correct.
Yes.
So, at the time that the county decided that they were going to manage this 2%, it was agreed upon that, between the town and Roost, that that Roost would continue to manage that local the LEAF money, which is really the Community Tourism Enhancement Fund for the town of North Elba. And the reason that Roost felt that this was so important is for two reasons. One is because, as we saw in these smaller towns, this money was although the amount that the towns were getting was significantly smaller, it was being absorbed into the general fund, and it wasn't being used for the goals that it was set out to do. It was also creating problems between the communities and, the town boards, because the community members, there was enough PR that the community members knew that there was money out there, and they we want to do a music festival, or we want to do a sign, or we want to do this. And they would come to us and we would say, that's what the Community Tourism Enhancement Fund money is for, and you should talk to your board. And that happened in Wilmington, and I can't stop saying Wilmington, but in other small communities, scratch that. All the smaller, the other smaller communities. So we felt that by Roost continuing to have this money, which is in a separate account, which is dedicated just for the town of North Elba's Community Tourism Enhancement Fund, and any interest that is gained on that account goes towards the Community Tourism Enhancement Fund. So there's no benefit to Roost other than it protects that money from going into the general fund of the town of North Elba, and protects the town of North Elba from having to justify where that money goes at some point. And it also helps us be compliant with the law, right? It's because money's supposed to come to Roost according to the law, and then, be used accordingly. The second reason that we feel that it's so important is it makes a direct correlation between our tourism industry and the positive impact that it has on the community. So this 2% going towards housing on West Valley, going towards the daycare, going towards, you know, the ambulance service, going towards the police department, the fire department, and on, really shows that impact that tourism has into the community. And a lot of those organizations on a daily basis don't see that. And there's a real tourism fatigue in the country and in the world, as we know. We hear what's going on in Italy. I mean, event and tourism fatigue is a real thing. And so we feel that we were really ahead of this by implementing this and having this ability to take some of the money that's generated by the traveler and directly put it back into our community. North Elba is a unicorn, right? The fact that we have our own local police department, we have our own ambulance, and we're able to take this money and create housing and a food pantry and a thrift store and, you know, a daycare. Those are things that, I mean, really other DMOs in New York State, like when we go to meetings and we talk about what we're doing and how the occupancy tax is being, you know, used not only to market, but to manage, you know, the regions that we serve, is really like a job that they can't believe it. Like, how do you accomplish this? And what an amazing thing. So now I understand that, from my understanding, the town is interested in taking that money that's currently the Community Tourism Enhancement Fund and bringing it into the town and no longer having Bruce be the one that holds that account, right? I understand why the town would want to do that. I think that, you know, the elephant, right, sometimes is on our foot. We need the money for this and that, and maybe the accounting is a little complicated as far as we get the receipts and we got the check, and I think that can be worked out, and I understand that concern or why you would want that, right? Like all the other towns get the money, we want the money too. But I think that just requesting that the town take some time to think beyond this year or 4 years down the road, or 5 years or 6 years, or even 10 years down the road, because at some point, when this money is within the town of North Elba's funds, accounts, it will be absorbed. It's just the way that it works over time, and it'll be budgeted for different, you know, whether it's labor or this or that or whatever it is. Those initiatives will no longer be possible. That money won't be there for the next thing that we need, whether it's more housing or daycare, after school program, or a new art center or a new theater, or whatever it is that makes us thrive and makes us really on the cutting edge of the North Country and of truly New York State. That ability will be gone. And that's the concern. And it's not about anybody at this table, you know, it's what happens over time.
But I think you bring up like a bunch of like red flags and like what to be cognizant of. So if we do move in that direction, then we make sure that that doesn't happen. That we put safeguards in place. Like it doesn't go into our general fund now. Like it has its own account. So it's not in our general.
Right, but the way that that works, it has its own account at Roost.
No, I'm saying at the town. It doesn't go into the town's general fund when it comes to us now. There's a CTEF fund line item.
Yeah, we keep a separate item, but MJ, you were perfect in explaining, worrying about evaporation of it. But you should know, never in our request to want to hold the money are we ever thinking about relinquishing belief. So I think the conversation you and I had today really can lead somewhere that quite possibly we decide as a board on percentages or whatever. We just happen to be in a time right now where there's uncertainty in major investments. And I understand your concern. So, you know, to preserve LEAF, certainly it's worth everybody knowing that we don't have the resources that LEAF has. And Dave has been our representative for, I don't know, 5 years? Or when since the beginning. And all those members, MJ included, spent hundreds of hours going through so many applications that is like having another arm to our board. So, you know, for me personally, it would be easy to sit here and say, okay, let's use a round figure. We get $750,000 a year. And we know that typically, Leaf is good about giving out $240,000 to $400,000 a year. So maybe as a board, we figure out for 2 years, let's try 35% of that money or whatever is designated to Leaf. And then our resources for what we're trying to tackle on a major thing that represents both visitors and the same mission statement that MJ,
And yeah, I was say the other paperwork thing that we do, and we can be more diligent, we need to be more diligent about, because I haven't checked in with Haley, is that we actually have the CTEF paperwork, which is similar to the LEAF application. So every time CTEF money is spent,
right?
the Haley is supposed to be documenting that it was used for the purposes of CTEF.
Exactly.
And also to make your job easier as a supervisor, for when the county asks you to prove what you spent your money on, you can say, look, here's all my documentation
Yeah.
of what I spent the money on.
So there's two things, and one is, and so Kristen Strack has, I know, and I've shared this with Derek before, a running list of everything that the CTEF money has been spent with the town on a spreadsheet, and then, and
But
as well as the.
yeah, but I would say it's lead. Oh, you, yes, she's full, okay. Because you still have money, so.
Because the way that it works is the check comes into the town and it comes to Leaf, or excuse me, it comes to Roost. We deposit it in that account, the Community Tourism Enhancement Fund. We sit down and Derek says, okay, this is the amount of money that you have for Leaf for this, September round. And that's documented. And so we have the balance of what's for Leaf and what's the Community Tourism Enhancement Fund. Kathy gives the receipts to Kristen, and she goes in and puts everything in a spreadsheet, what it was spent on and how much, under Community Tourism Enhancement Fund, writes a check to the town, and then the town gets the money. I could see where that is complicated, truly I can, and maybe, I guess my question to the town is, what is the advantage to having the money in your account opposed to keeping up with in the account of Roost? It's still the town's money.
But my concern with some
You go first.
is we get a monthly report from Kathy and we see what's there. We don't know, I don't know what's in it.
Yeah.
So if it's a matter of generating a report,
That's why I thought that was probably more originally.
it probably could have been, and I'll take full responsibility for that. I mean, Derek and I sit down and we go through it. We've sat down with Kristen and Kathy before. I have, to be completely honest, I haven't looked at that agreement since we signed it.
I think one
I think it's
of the first thing, one of my concerns, and I think the board in general, is the fact that we would like to see more accounting reports. Whatever.
What was the interest earned?
Whether it be a quarterly report, a monthly report, we could agree upon, but just something formal, we get something and say, okay, boom, boom, boom. Here's what the interest is, here's the balance as of.
And I, as a town board member, would 100% want to see that as well.
Yeah.
And again, it's not for not having that documentation or not wanting to be transparent. It's just
Right.
not on the radar, but I would like to request that we move forward with that for, if you want to say 6 months, or for, maybe in May of 2026, we sit down and reevaluate it. And if you're like, we still, thank you for doing the reports monthly or quarterly, and we have a clear understanding of where we are, what's being spent where, but we really just want to have it in our own coffers for whatever reason, then, but I'm just asking that we just take a pause, because I truly I'm not looking today, I'm just looking 10 and 15 years, and who knows which of this will be here or not. But I just feel like it's such an important program to keep our community as far ahead of the pack. I mean, it's such a competitive tourism economy that we live in, that this is one of our blades that I hate to, see.
I wish Kathy would be part of this conversation. I have a message from her that she says I lost sound. She lost sound again.
And I think that, you know, from Kathy's perspective, it could probably be a little clunky and, you know, there probably is a better way to sit down and figure out how to do it, or with the new accounting person.
Sure.
Your speaker on?
She said-
Yes, volume. Volume.
She's like MJ.
Yeah, delete. You,
Tell me this, board, how would you like to move forward? Would it warrant another meeting to set up maybe this proportion deal, or how the transfer of money goes? Should we stay the course until the end of the year? I'm open to whatever.
I'm okay with staying the course for whatever, a little bit, okay? But like I said, I brought up that in the accounting, I'd like to see, and I think it was in that original agreement. It was, to say when we would receive the period of time, whether it was quarterly, monthly, or whatever it was, we would get full accounting
and you should,
statements.
and you should.
And that's,
And
that's a big one to me, and I
Yeah.
said it was in the board meetings and, right now, that's a big, to me, because right now, if we have no idea, I could make a phone call, but we had agreed upon accountings, accounting statements.
And I accept full responsibility for being remiss in that, and it, you know, negligence, but it wasn't for, there's no excuse, it just really wasn't on my radar. Every time we sat down, talked about it, we'd look at it, you and I, and we'd be like, okay, but it should be much more formal.
And actually, it certainly started out innocent, because when we first started divulging the difference between leaf and things we were doing, really was way back when shore owners was starting their work on the dam. So I ran up to see
Yeah.
MJ and I said, we're gonna need 50,000.
Right,
Well, that's the thing, if we can get the accounting statements, number one. Number two, we can, the transfer, Kathy submitting.
Here's what,
Check, we can tweak that too.
here's what won't change. The county is adamant about sending the initial check to the towns. That's
Yeah,
just the
that's,
way.
that's.
So then from there is how we have to agree that.
Right.
Vice versa.
I don't think the board, even with Emily on it, can do what Bruce does.
Oh,
And I think just, and then having and just having, the sort of the oversight is enough for me to be able to relay to, that whole community, like, well, here's what's going on. I just don't think if we do house it, that we would be able to leverage it as well as Bruce does. So just having an oversight. So,
To me, the concern, I don't want to beat a dead horse, but I think in my mind, what started the conversation, which this is the conversation, is the, I'd say, the lack of
reporting.
reporting.
Yeah.
That's what continued it for me. And if I get that in front of me, then we can tweak, if there's some there is back and forth, I'll tweak that. But these are all steps, and I'm willing to take a pause on this discussion as long as we can go there.
Absolutely.
I do.
And then how that works, I'm sorry, with whether it's, you know, sitting down, having Karen Meister, who's our, you know, bookkeeper, and Kristen come to the board and go over with, you know, obviously documentation and answer questions and recommendations. We can do that quarterly. We can start it whenever you want. And, you know, again,
I think we should see what the original agreement says.
Yeah, because it's in there, it's just, I forget what the period is.
And that perhaps first then would be helpful
yeah,
to
sure.
have it there, and then we have a history, so we can do a comparison.
I'm just creating the infrastructure for the road to happen.
I think Kathy had a comment. Hi, Kathy.
Hello?
Hear you.
You got John?
Hi, so I am okay with the whole situation as MJ described it, and granted, I plan on leaving at the end of the year, so there will be somebody replacing me who will have their own opinions, but I do believe, and I have asked for it before, but I haven't followed up on it, that we should get a monthly reporting from Roost stating they've received X amount of money from the town, they have earned X amount of interest from the banks for their bank statement. We should have a list from them of all the payments that have left the funds, whether they were for leaf accounts, payments to other towns or for community tourism enhancement. We should have a profit and loss and a balance sheet and detailed information sent to us every month.
A reconciliation sheet, basically.
Well, more than just a reconciliation sheet, but yes. That's my belief.
But if
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Kathy.
paper, we know
So-
what is designated.
Yeah.
Like through
I
a
will
spreadsheet
beat
or
this
something.
dead horse. So I'll leave that dead. But
He has his own horse.
we do need to come up with objective criteria for what percentage or what amount is going to leave, not just a random selection.
Right.
So if we can go back and look at it historically, average that out.
I did do that, a little bit of work,
Okay.
and just went, you know, from the beginning, the total amount, and then just for round one of 2025, round two is, we never talked, it's just sitting in the account, and I think you have the third check.
But because of the criteria changed from one figure, the same amount the towns. I mean, not a lot of history you can go by.
Well, just the money that divided with into the community tourism enhancement fund and leave for the town of North Dallas.
Yeah.
That's what we're talking about, right?
Yeah, but I mean, initially, we had a great deal more funds to look at and say, okay, here's what we had. And then by increasing 3 to 4-fold what each town gets, each town gets.
So let's each reconcile our own side, and then you and I will be together.
That sounds
And
good.
as long as you're satisfied with how liquid that funding is, so you can sleep at night.
For another 170.
And
Okay.
We'll take that.
Very good. Thank you, MJ.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, let's move to personnel actions under if we need to discuss, I'm open to it, but I was hoping to accept the Horseshoe Grounds and Athletic Fields Master Plan. And I think before there's an overall acceptance, I'd like to make it clear that that doesn't mean that everything that's offered in that master plan report is accepted as we're gonna do it. But we did accept those ideas for consideration throughout the process as we go through those phases. With that being said, is there further remarks or anything on the process we went through with SC Group? Personally, I think they were great to work with. There was I'm gonna call it a 2 to 3 month get to know each other with the group. But I really think they delved in great. They worked in great with Swazzle Engineering to help with a lot of our utility work at those grounds to understand where we need to go for the improvements we'd like to do. But overall, I think it was a good report. Remind me what we paid for that, 70?
It was no more than 70.
I think that was the figure.
Yeah.
I was gonna say between 50 and 70. I don't remember what the other was.
But two of the major things that came out of it for me personally, was stormwater management and knowing everything we wanted to do, we addressed in a very good, safe, environmental way on that piece of property. If there's no further comments, I'll take a motion to accept, the master plan. Moved by Emily, seconded by Rick. Further comments? All in favor? Aye. No one opposed, it's carried. Thank you.
I'm not sure what the next item is on there because we don't have the final.
No, I put it on in case we
In
were,
case we did, okay.
but we really can't.
Yeah, we don't have the yet.
So I better move this to August.
The comp plan.
This is being moved to August.
The SE Group comp plan.
No, the comp plan.
This one is
Yeah.
being moved to August.
Showgrounds was accepted.
We already approved, or did we? Yeah, we did the resolution here and the resolution. Rick, you want to take this next?
Sure.
I'll start with overtime, revised policy procedure. Working with Kathy, and Kathy, speak up if you're agree or disagree. And Ken and Jeremy on this, because those are the individuals that will be utilizing this policy. The underlying section in this policy are the changes, and of course, the strike throughs are what we got rid of. So I don't know if you've had time to look at it. It was in your, so.
Yeah.
So that's uniform, no, it starts with uniform 8.09, uniform expenses and 9.02 are holidays. This was what we discussed, I believe, last year. Allowing full-time seasonal employees, defined as those averaging 30 or more hours per week for 2 consecutive payroll periods prior to the holiday. That way, the lifeguards, the Camp Placid folks, they don't start on the 8th or on the 3rd and get paid for the 4th.
Right.
But we do have several full-time seasonal employees who work starting May. And the only real holiday that's involved is 4th of July. So recognizing them as full-time seasonal and paying them for
The holiday.
the holiday. Otherwise, they tend to work and we pay them time and a half. So we're actually saving money for the towns. The third and final one is the comp time, and I believe we've discussed this on several occasions, 3 to be precise. And
How would you tell me?
we tweaked it, made changes to it, and I believe it's ready to go if you're all acceptance of it, so. I don't know if you want to do them as a group.
I'm prepared to do them as a group.
Yeah.
We've been over them so many times, I couldn't even think of a change. So I'll take a motion to accept comp time policy, holiday pay policy, and employee overtime policy. Motion to accept.
So
Rick, second, Dick. Further comments? All in favor? Aye. Carried. We are in need to accept a lease on this building with Adirondack Health. I probably should give just a little history. They are great tenants, as is Roost, that has one office here. In any respect, for about 2.5 years, we've let Adirondack Health use this building at no charge. Certainly as a thanks, because we are still so fortunate to have a hospital here that we took care of them as long as we could. We're at a point now where the building is old enough and the yearly maintenance costs, they tend to add up as the building gets older. So we talked as a board on giving a very reasonable rate to Adirondack Health for their foundation here. And it was agreed at $700 a month. And as you all know, even just trying to rent a 1-room bedroom apartment is even in that range. So I think we're still doing a very good service for Adirondack Health. They're very happy as well. If it's still agreeable to the board, I have the contract to sign, and it was sent to all of you to review. It's pretty standard language. We still do all the maintenance. We heat the building, we cover all the costs, so in any respect, I'd like a motion to accept the Adirondack Health lease. Emily, second. Jason, any further comment?
one question, is the contract with Adirondack Health or Adirondack Health Foundation?
Um,
Foundation. Foundation.
Adirondack Medical Center, doing business as Adirondack Health. And the foundation must be under Adirondack.
Must be. Did they approve? Did they see?
Yeah, it's signed by Dan Hill.
Okay.
Yep.
Was there okay with it?
Anything further? Did I already take a vote? All in favor?
I,
No opposed? Thank you. Committee reports, Emily, I don't know if you might like to give a little update on, the youth golf program and how we've used cannabis funds to help. the youth.
Yeah, well, I think this is the email that came from, did it come from Jeremy or did it come from Mary? I was to purchase range balls, so, like the 10th tee. I'm looking here. There's it's the sledding hill. This is what we call it. There used to be a smaller driving range over there. And so, the pro wanted to buy a set of, thousands of balls just to have the juniors for his junior clinics to have a driving range over there, which is very convenient because if you're familiar with Craigwood, you'd have to actually get them to the driving range in a series of carts or a bus or something, and then get them back down. And so it works very well. They can just run over to that driving range and use it. And I think that was it, right? It was just golf balls?
Yeah, and driving mats.
Oh, yeah. And I will say that both of my children did the clinic last week, so it was from 9 to 12, Monday through Thursday. And I thought that Eric and his assistants, one who was Nolan Clark, Willis's son, were excellent. And my kids loved it. And there's probably 15 to 20 kids there, so it was a great turnout. And the range balls were very helpful.
Good deal. Oh, and naturally, the point is, we continue to use cannabis tax money to the benefit of kids doing stuff outdoors and being active.
Dick, do you want to bring up the second? Because that came from Jeremy today, right? I'm just trying to find.
yes,
Oh, that's-
The other one, where, yeah,
for Camp Placid.
Yes.
for supplies for camp.
Are we both on there? Do we want to talk about that?
I went to everybody, on New Year's Eve.
Um,
He wanted
Oh,
it approved if we needed to approve it, 2,500.
yeah,
2,500.
do we want to talk about that?
Sure.
Okay,
Yeah,
so,
I mean, I'm fine with that. I mean, obviously, we had a shortfall
Oh,
the shortfall in his budget. And this is an excellent source of, because it's the youth and everything, this is an excellent use of cannabis funds for these items. So I would support it.
Sounds like a motion with a second by Emily.
It sounds like it's me.
Yeah.
Just for both.
yeah, for both,
For
because
both.
we should vote on them,
Sure.
Okay,
even though one, sorry, check is written, but.
Yeah.
so first one?
Golf,
Youth golf.
Yeah.
Use of cannabis funds.
Yes.
You know,
All right, so-
Camp Placid is 25.
same motions, Dick and Emily, further comment, all in favor? Aye. No one opposed, it carries. Second is? What's the second item?
Oh,
You want to-
yeah, Camp Placid and youth golf, we used to have cannabis funds allocations together.
Okay, yeah.
This is for you. All right.
Yeah.
All in favor? Aye. Carries.
Friday.
Oh, yeah, this is a respectful reminder that the town hall is closed Ironman Friday. Goes back years where the crowds gave us fits that within bathroom facilities just can't handle the crowds, so.
Is the village again this year, Yokel?
Iron Village, not like Placid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it is.
Yes,
Didn't know if, that wasn't privy to that, but not that we, any of us are privy, but I hadn't seen Veritas too.
any other committee reports?
just like to give Ken and his crew a shout out for all that they've been doing outside of their regular work. They were a huge help. If you haven't seen the long building, it's pretty impressive how quickly Steve Sam's crew and with the highway people cleaned that up. It's almost ready for demolition.
That really is an understatement
Oh,
of how much Ken does for us,
Yes.
outside of all of his responsibilities for the town highways.
Watching them work together was just amazing today.
Yeah,
They really had a lot of fun, get stuff done.
And the fact that they're also hauling asphalt too.
And that's
So yeah, it's a number of them in the past few days, so they did that and all
What
asphalt.
were they hauling asphalt for?
the thrift shop parking, and that is complete now.
And last week, you helped the village, like, we're not paying. Yeah.
The only other thing I had, if we wanted to keep talking about Park District and our committee reports, there's also a request for an approval of the invoice for the rubber matting for Newman Park. If we wanna, it's not formally in a budget adjustment though, so I don't know if we wanna act on it. We should wait.
I think
It's necessary. isn't it?
I'm okay to act on it. It's,
It's been mandated by the insurance.
How much
Well,
was it?
yeah.
I didn't see. it.
There is not an attachment.
yeah,
Oh wait, maybe there is an attachment if I keep going. For Kathy, do you know?
$11,000.
So the bill just came in today. And because of the timing, it would have been paid through the August board meeting.
Okay, so we don't have to act on it.
Well-
No, the only thing is Jeremy is saying that they really don't want to carry that balance for a whole month. This is a
Yeah.
new vendor. He's asking for permission to prepay the bill.
We have received it, correct,
Yes.
the material.
Yes,
Yeah.
the material's been installed. The bill was received, I believe it was yesterday. And I mean, it's, the downside of being the town is that we only pay our bills once a month instead of twice a month like the village. So a lot of our vendors have to wait. And if they're new vendors, they don't really understand that.
Well, this isn't a situation where we don't have the ability to pay, that's for sure. So I don't mind, put it this way, this hasn't been budgeted, so it means fund balance. So I'm okay with paying.
And it's, I think Jason pointed out, somebody did that it's a requirement.
Well,
We don't have a choice.
when I.
That's true. It was an insurance request.
Yeah.
It needed to be done.
Now that is the top layer, isn't that? No.
I've got to do a whole tour of everything.
The top layer isn't that?
No,
No.
no,
It's
these are all like rubber popcorn.
That's right, okay.
Yeah,
The reason I say that is, and we've talked this maybe, or, the options they gave us and everything.
yeah,
I noticed, park over here at the carousel, they put in the chips.
yeah. You have to,
We're much better.
you have to do, 9 inches of them.
Yeah.
Mold is a problem with chips.
Sometimes.
Yeah,
This is the best product rubber we can get. And we only can do 4 inches of it.
Right,
Doesn't compact and it stays
yeah,
sanitary.
and like I said, it'll be much more beneficial to the users than chips.
Yeah.
So to reinforce that.
All right, so, I'll take a motion to accept payment for those, rubber pellets. Rick, seconded by Jason. Further comment? All in favor? Aye, carries. Anything else for committee reports before we move on to budget adjustments and personnel actions? No? Kathy, do you want to cover, personnel actions or budget amendments?
Well, I will do what I usually do. I emailed everything to you. I understand it was a little late in coming to you. 4th of July weekend and everything else is just a timing issue. The personal actions are all for Camp Placid this month.
Yeah, I see it.
I went over them all with Adrian and she believes based on the scheduling for the season that this will still fit within our budget, so I just ask for you all to approve them.
Kathy, my only question, and maybe this is an Adrian question, and so if you don't know it, you can say I don't know. But I thought we had 12 counselors and there's 19 names on here.
Well, I will say that part of the, I'm gonna phrase this with, please verify with Adrian. But it is my understanding that not all counselors will be working every day. So she had to have extras to
Okay.
cover days where other counselors weren't able to work.
That's it in a nutshell.
It was a minimum of 12 every day.
We're in a time where kids come to work and they tell you what days they're gonna work.
Yeah. And then for what?
Well, and to be fair to the kids, their parents are probably telling them that.
Yep,
No.
it's a different era.
Yeah.
Well, I brought my son up and I thought it was a pretty great start. It was very organized.
It's a really good day.
They had, counselor out front door, holding the door open, greeting people, and then people, guiding them to the table, talking to them. And it was, some people would perceive it as hectic, but if you're a teacher in the first day of school, that's just normal.
Was this Finn's first time in discussion though? So you
Yes.
don't have anything to compare it to? Cause
Oh, no, I did this bar camp,
but I'm
which
just
was
saying,
smaller.
it's a different program altogether.
Yes.
I'm just saying, I think it would have been a little bit crazier last year. I think it was like, even though it might have seemed hectic, it
Oh,
was,
no, but I don't think it was, I don't wanna portray it as chaotic and unorganized. It was just a lot of people, parents coming in, talking.
Registration.
Registration, yeah, and then health checks and whatever else. It was very organized and it was smooth. There's a lot of kids like crying, celebration, whatnot. It was like my son. So it was just, but they handled, the counselors came over and there was some like substitute teachers, a lot of familiar faces. I thought it went off. You know, I'm not just saying that because it's like it represented the town. It's just, I would have been a little.
Adrian and Jeremy worked hard to put this program together. Yep, that's great. All right, anything out of whack on budget adjustments you wanna mention, Kathy? It looked like pretty straightforward to me.
I mean, yeah, most of it's straightforward. The really big adjustments were for a justice grant that we received for record management and the insurance that we received for repairing the gate at the transfer station. Um, the biggest one, I believe that, oh, also I want to note that for the sewer, we received the first half of one of the EPG grants and the first 25% of the second EPG grant, which is to help offset the cost of the SWAZO agreements for the work, the studies that they did for us. So that was one of those budget adjustments, was, you know, and then basically it's mostly the park district. We're looking for $52,000 for from fund balance for the park district, of which part of it is the $11,000 for Jelly Bean, so it's in there. That's for that Newman Park rubber mulch. Yeah, and then $9,600 was for a pump replacement out at Craigwood that was not budgeted for. Some additional local work at the showgrounds for grounds repair that I believe is not related to the capital project out there. It's just work that needed to get done that wasn't in the budget. Total of about $6,500. And then transferring $24,000 to the Showground Capital Project Fund for the town's share of the in-kind expenditures, which I sent that all to you in an email with,
That's
there were tabs in the Excel that showed you what was included in that. So, I mean, everything is, you know, straight, I believe it's straightforward, but if you guys have questions, feel free to ask them.
No, I think it all looked great.
yeah, this isn't necessarily about your budget amendment paperwork, but we just talked tonight about two things that were gonna be funded with cannabis. So if youth golf was already on there, or have you not done any moving of money for youth golf?
So the youth golf was, there are two outstanding purchase orders we haven't received invoices for yet. So they'll probably show through in August's board meeting.
And you heard us tonight, and maybe I'll try to touch base with Haley, because it's like, again, with the CTF funds, like I would like some documentation of where this cannabis money is going.
Yes.
But I don't expect Park District to complete the application, I just need it to be noted somewhere.
Right,
That-
so in the budget amendments for you, there was a tab for the cannabis. So one of the, in that spreadsheet, that workbook that I sent with the budget amendments.
Yep.
There was a tab for the cannabis and there was a tab for the CTEF.
Yeah,
So,
for some, I can't open mine right now, but I'll believe you.
okay, yep, so it's all listed in there. But absolutely, we can touch base with Haley as well. And the only other request I have is related to a request I received via email from the Lake Placid Volunteer Ambulance Service. They would like the release of the second half, excuse me, the second half of their 2025 budgeted money, which is basically a check for $34,500, which you all approved back in, like, I think it was March or April's board meeting. And the
Yes.
check's been sitting in my office waiting to be sent out.
I was just waiting for confirmation from Rick and he sent that through. So you're okay with the ambulance with their second check?
Yeah.
Okay, and that's all I have.
Thanks, Kat.
I said, well, not.
Thank you.
Just the note, we want to talk about cannabis funds. I talked to Mr. Lindsay, who was running the robotics camp. And he had said that the funds that he received from the cannabis grant was the difference between the group being able to stay over and have a more focused approach on the competition than driving down and back 2 days in a row for the competition.
Because they attended the whole thing.
Yes, they
Good,
were very appreciative.
good. All right, I take a motion to accept the audits.
So moved.
Dick, seconded by Rick. Further comment? All in favor? Aye. Carries.
Did you, approve the budget adjustments?
Yeah, that's just what we were talking about.
Both together. Together.
Yeah.
We didn't do personnel actions. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
we didn't do personal actions.
Just talked about,
We just talked about it.
with all the counselors.
Yeah, we didn't approve it.
Yeah, we should.
I can make a motion to.
All right, I'll take a motion to approve personnel actions. Emily? I'm gonna give it to Dick. All in favor?
Sorry, buddy.
No,
Didn't bring your wallet.
Carries. All right, we're at the, person's opportunity to speak or press questions. Yes, ma'am.
So, my name's Leslie Shannon. I'm with Captain Marty's boat rental, but I'm not here to talk about Captain Marty's dilemma, the fiasco surrounding the sale of Paradox Bay Marina. Those topics seriously just give me headaches. Don't want to deal with them anymore. But I do have a couple points I want to bring up. I was watching one of your meetings on YouTube, and there seemed to be some confusion about boat licenses. People that rent boats are not required to obtain a New York State boating license. I think New York State realizes that we are not going to allow an individual to rent one of our assets that eventually pays our bills without going over everything about the boat, safety, navigation, etiquette in the water, and whatever else is on our safety checklist. And we also make sure that these people are not going to be a danger to themselves or any others. We only take reservations over the phone or in person, just so we can vet these people. We want to talk to them. Hey, you're going out on a bachelor party, who's going to be sober? If nobody's going to be sober, you're going to have somebody captain the boat, go to ADK Aquatics, or go to someplace else. We're not dealing with you. Boating safety course taught me how to navigate sandbars off Long Island and how to go through the locks on Erie Canal, but not how to physically drive a boat. The best one that I've had 2 experiences with people that have boating licenses. The first one was about 3 years ago. Thinking about buying a boat, so we got our boating license. Can you show us how to drive it? That was question number 1. Earlier this year, I had somebody who has a boating license. Where's the brake pedal? That's the boating license. It's a joke. All right. Does anybody have any questions about the boating license? Because I'm really up to date on that.
I'd like to ask, I'm assuming you're on the lake a lot. Have you noticed the county's boat up here a couple times already?
I was out on the lake personally, I want to say Saturday. And I passed NCON 4 times and I was on the lake for maybe half an hour.
That was Sunday.
Was it Sunday? Yeah, I was just running out to a friend's camp up because I was.
Voting license. Also Saturday, I'm. Oh, were they?
Yeah, they're on through a lot. All right, any other questions about voting licenses?
No.
Okay. I was also looking at the websites of other boat rentals in the Adirondacks. I specifically Googled boat rentals with tubing. I started with Lake Placid, then went to Saranac Lake, Long Lake, Inlet, Spoon Lake, and finally Lake George. The nearest boat rental that allows a person to take a boat with tubes and or water skis is on Lake George in Ticonderoga. It's about a 75-minute drive. There's boat rentals in Inlet, Bolton Landing, and Lake George Village that also offers tubing and or water skis. I feel that in the very near future, our local officials of our town and village, and also the Lake Placid horse shows, will come to realize how important water sports availability is to Lake Placid. Emphasis on the word lake. I would hope that these same officials do not magically come up with a way to put water sports back on Lake Placid, especially after adamantly stating there was no way to help Captain Barney's. Having grown up in the Capital District, Lake George has always been our go-to for day trips, and I know the attraction and all the amenities the lake has to offer, and the quaint village of Bolton Landing vibe. I think it's time we all step up with addressing activities offered sooner than later, before the Queen of Lakes starts looking better than the Olympic Village for tourists looking to go on a boat with the tube. Any comments? That's it for me.
Thank
The
you.
idea that we have to drive to Lake George because it's not available. I also want to mention, I didn't have this written down, but I did send an email out earlier. The Friday before dark day of horse show, the day that nobody's at horse show. By 2:00 in the afternoon, I had literally had to deny horse show participants, 8 groups of them, a boat available with tube or ski. We only rent a horse show on that Monday. We don't take regular tours. We cater to horse show only. I have since been to the horse show grounds to apologize because we can't do it. I just wanted to throw that out there. And that concerns me with the tourists now having to go to Lake George or almost Old Forge. All right, it's a huge deal up here.
Thank you.
I was at a hotel last year on the soccer tournament, having breakfast buffet. Over here, a person who's going up to Lake Placid, and then he went out to tell his friends that he has a boat and that he stopped in Lake George. And what a beautiful boat launch they have.
Which one?
I
All of
don't, okay, well, I don't Lake George that much, actually. It's a great place. Look at this state launch, dump, bottles, mud.
There's no place to tie your boats up either at the state lodge.
The village launch, they're not doing anything about it. And when we come off the lake, it's like the first impression, we come to Lake Placid, it's like, oh, this is the village.
Yeah.
They're not doing their job about guarding the lake, neither are you people.
Well, I'm not placing blame on anybody at this point, James. I've given up. Personally, I have a lot of hard feelings towards a lot of people involved with this, but I also,
You know, so I'd like to talk about the fiasco of Paradise Landing.
well, I
And
don't.
every day that goes by.
The comments are supposed to be this way, not this way.
No, I'm
Yeah,
not.
I'll be here after the meeting, dude.
No.
Counting is, if anyone can come, slowly trustees, if you want to sit down and tell me what it is that you're scared of about, Paradise Landing, you can't talk about, I'll be here, okay?
James, you keep going over it.
Keep going over, that's fine, do it.
You're pushing your luck.
Yeah.
Now,
Keep going over it.
we're getting ready to go into executive session. You're nothing but a troublemaker.
Grace.
I'm here representing 88 homes.
No, you're representing you.
Yeah, you're.
I have a town supervisor who's counseling me on this, giving some advice.
No, I'm not going there.
Do not give up on this. I had the mayor of my village, that told me the situation. What he says to you people, you should not be in government. Well, that's not me, that's not the mayor, long-time mayor, Casey's not listening. She's not beating on.
I just want to
So
thank
that-
you for your time on this
Thank you.
meeting.
So no one will talk to me. If you want to talk to me, you have my email, you have my phone number.
Yeah. We do.
Show accountants, you know?
There's a couple of things, did you catch the owl that, the golf thing?
I don't actually know, I got a tiny email, okay, but we couldn't catch it either, so.
Yeah.
And then like, one other weird thing I had, just, I thought I had during the workshop, but the new law for the
Yeah.
septic systems,
Figure what-
is the town considering like finding a designated engineer that would do all of this, or is it more, are you thinking more that?
On the septic law,
Find people, yeah.
actually, yes, I talked to one particular, engineer that already represents the town of Bolton. And he is current with all DEC laws, regs, knowledgeable on all the different kind of septic systems, knows water qualities, highly qualified, and would be willing to talk to us about representing the town. And we have to decide, like, is that the person we'd like to introduce when there is a potential sale to do the inspection? But you see, there are different caveats to the law that allow the current homeowner to say, well, I had this system inspected by such and such engineer, when that information can be relayed, so. Anyway, yes, I'm gonna pursue working with this board to consider, having a person either on call or,
Yeah,
you know,
but the law doesn't like specify that it has to be like a town designated person. It
No.
must be someone who's qualified.
the only thing this amended law, mandates is that, an inspection report has to be filed with the town. Yeah. So that's a good initial start.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, enforcement is our toughest issue. And with multiple engineers involved, I think it will help mitigate that exposure. Yep. Good.
That's it.
Chris?
One last question or comment, so when you mentioned that the septic law would be signed off by engineers.
No, not that the law will be
No,
set.
no, I'm sorry, the project. So the challenge is that the engineer isn't doing the due diligence of reading the deeds. So that the deeds will say, if septic is not practical to build, you know, within setbacks or
Right.
you can tie into the separate property. So the challenge is that they're building it or you're approving it. Yet there was a solution, a better solution based on what the deed says.
Which might warrant some kind of variance language.
Yes, I guess what I'm saying is that this has happened now a couple times on the lake where there were opportunities, but it was pushed through. So, you know, going forward,
Yeah,
something to be aware of that, and it's hard to read a deed.
I don't really know how to answer that, Chris.
Yeah, I don't either. I'm just bringing it up that I
Yeah.
think it's one of the challenges that we have. That if there's a better solution where somebody doesn't have enough setback, on, you know, whether it's abutting state land or it's not far enough from the water. There often are opportunities that septic would tie into somebody else's septic as long as it was functional.
Chris, isn't it, that's not allowed, oh, you're saying if it's in the deed,
If
it's
it's in the
allowed,
deed,
it's allowed.
exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. So that's,
Which leaves,
which it's
which
not,
leaves,
you know.
which
again,
leaves the town out and it becomes civil.
Yeah, in the town, and I guess, the town attorney have to read all the deeds to make sure the engineer is signing,
Right.
what he's signing off on.
Yeah, there's,
In the distribution boxes, you know, the engineer may say, yes, this is for this size property and this number of bedrooms, and then they don't do that.
right,
So that's it's a challenge, for sure. Just bringing stuff.
I know, but at least as you can see, we're not afraid to amend things.
Oh, I know, no, and I'm pleased, I'm really pleased with that, which is great, yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
before the three of you go, yes, ma'am,
I have something to add here.
of course.
So my name is Amy Marty. We own property at 93 Balsam Street. And have learned that our driveway or parking lot is actually owned by the town. And it's always been maintained by my husband's family. Barneys live up there in that neighborhood. They all park there and whatnot. So, long story short, we would like to see about buying the property from the town or to see what steps to take. We've talked to a few different people from building department, Bob Marvin, Lori had suggested talking to at a board meeting.
What is it, 93?
93 Balsam Street.
it's the top, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, exactly. So we've maintained it, like I've been in Lake Placid for like 35 years and my husband's family has always parked up there like right away and whatnot. Every spring, raking and rocks and I mean, I can just say 35 plus years that I personally have seen them maintaining. We want to pave it. And then when I started getting bids for paving, I was like, let me do my homework. And I went to Darcy and she's like, you don't even own that. I was like, oh my lord, what is going on? So it butts right up against the property. So I just want to see.
So it's not the right of way, it's actually like the town owns that little piece. that-
Exactly, as long as I've ever known, it's just everyone at 93 Balsam parks there. My husband's parents and his sister have property over the hill,
Right.
so they always park there as well. So I understand there's probably going to be, you know, right of way type things that we would
How
have
much
to.
is it, how much is it? Oh, where is this?
So I can say from one of the bids from the paving, it was under 4,000 square feet. Is that, oops,
yeah,
But do you have a survey that shows where the lines are?
yeah, Bob Marvin, has surveyed, he had verified, and again, talked with Darcy, like, I just feel like we're kind of bouncing around, like.
Or the other person.
I remember Bob
Yeah.
sending that information to us last winter, does that sound right?
I think it was in the spring when we realized, like, this past spring, we put a lot of money in.
Here's the part that I'm remembering. Does it mean if we were agreeable to sell it to two parcels? Because isn't there like an apartment or something?
So there's an apartment building, and then there's also a garage on the property where we're currently building, like kind of our retirement apartment above it, so. There's a lot going on up there,
The
and
driveway go around like a telephone pole.
yes,
Yes.
Yes,
okay, so
yeah.
I'm looking at-
So the town owns the one, if you look at the telephone pole to the left,
they own the whole thing.
the driveway as well.
I
Well, the survey should tell you who owns what.
Yeah, I don't have the survey, but
I've never seen the survey.
it's,
No.
yeah.
I'm saying property without. Well, what is it?
Yeah, I know the property.
Oh,
My
yeah.
brother used to live there.
Well, I can tell you, the first thing we'll do, we'll talk to Kenny. That takes care of the road.
Kenny Porter.
Yeah.
He verified too. My husband said he talked to Kenny.
Yeah,
So I feel like we talk to someone and they say, talk to this person, then we talk to the next person, and I just wanna, you know, dot the i's, cross the t's.
as long as it doesn't affect any legal right of ways, I don't see a problem with us. Transferring.
So you live in 93.
We own 93.
93. How about the one to the right?
I'm sorry,
How about the one to the right?
That new one.
It's like a stand with green.
so, Vladimir, like the new big one,
Yeah.
that's Vladimir and Victoria, they have a driveway around back, it's how they enter. But then there's like a new building being built that's a garage with an apartment over top. They're both brown, that's why I'm like,
And which side of the park, where's the garage?
you want me to look over there?
Yes, please.
Cause I haven't noticed.
Oh, okay, so this is our building here, this 93. So we're building in the back here, where, and there's gonna be an apartment over that will eventually live on. But that's Vladimir
Oh,
and
nice.
Victoria, but apparently all this dirt is owned by the town, but like,
But they have a separate driveway.
yeah, they're separate over there. Kind of, and then like Teresa and Matt Amani, they park there for the hill, that's her truck.
And then it's,
So
Yeah, cause
they
it,
live down over here.
Right. and there's no right of way down to their house. There's no driveway down to there?
I think their right of way is actually right through this dirt area and they can go down there.
Because, yeah, I know they live down there. Okay.
Right. And I get the whole fact that like in 200 years, maybe it's not Marnieville, like I understand that, and then like we need to say, okay, everyone has a right to it, you know? So
There just seems like a lot of legal work though, if you just start giving people right of ways over that.
they've always had a right of way over the hill, like the parents.
So that would be the town deed of the property. Right.
Yes.
I'm just trying to follow.
Yes. Maybe I'll start with Todd.
Yeah.
Yeah. We can, yeah.
Yeah, I know Darcy knows some things. Kenny's been in the loop. But
So,
Marvin-
so if you look, so if you look at the, maybe if you look at the new house. Okay,
Yeah.
New house.
Oh, this,
Their house,
yeah.
okay. Where does yours start in relation to that
Where's your property?
Our property,
line?
kind of behind where that truck is.
Oh, okay, so it's over there.
It's a little berm.
Okay.
Yeah, we can do a field trip too if you want.
Sorry, this is true.
I drive by there all the time.
Right, it's kind of weird, and like I said, I
never
haven't
knew it
really.
was. Yeah.
I had no idea that it wasn't attached with it, because they've always taken the parking.
Yeah.
Is stormwater a problem over there?
The drainage, yeah, that's what kind of started the whole thing. I said, well, can we pave it? Because we have to fill in and rake and get tractors, and this last winter was terrible. But the town has never, no offense, has never really done anything to maintain it.
Right.
It's always been them, which again, it's probably been hundreds of years because again, it's Barneyville and they've always lived around there and parked up
Well,
there.
it makes sense for the residents to have it. Yeah, that's pretty easy to figure out.
Sure.
It's,
Whatever,
it's just the complicated language it might take to do it.
exactly. But,
All right, I'll start tomorrow talking to our assessor.
okay,
We'll look at GPS overlays, and see how that goes.
okay.
And don't be afraid to call me and remind me.
Okay. So just follow up with you,
Sure.
directly and.
Yeah,
Okay.
but I will start this tomorrow. You don't have to call me tomorrow.
It's fine. I'll keep you on my to-do list.
Wait till Thursday.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. So what I was getting at before we go, I'll apologize for my actions, but I'm telling you what, I've dealt with this very many times.
Too many times.
I've even had, showrunners tell me that they're gonna try to dissuade them from coming to the August thing and creating a
You
scene.
can't, yeah, so in full disclosure, I wanted him to become a member. I invited him with the intent of paying your dues to go into the room, and he just didn't pay his dues and went in the room. So he will not be allowed to go into the room this year if he doesn't pay his dues. And he will not be.
And please don't think we didn't sincerely listen.
I know,
For at least the first two meetings.
supervisor, I know, this is not,
It's never been.
this is unfortunate, it's unfortunate, for sure.
Yeah. All right, with that being said, any other comments? We're in need of, an executive session. So I thank you for coming and being
Yeah,
patient.
thanks.
Thank you. There we go.
Motion to go into executive.
I'll take a motion, Rick, did, all.
Seven, actually just turned seven. All right.
We don't.
I would make sure you guys. Okay.